Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I'm a Western astrologer in Twin Flame Channel, and this is a video about the full moon in Leo that took place on February 12th at 8:53 a.m. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, this will be your all signs lunar update with energy active up to 1 week post, waning energy active up to 1 week post of this full moon. Interesting full moon energy we have here. I want to just take a moment to thank everyone who listens to these intros. It means so much to me. They are the way that I can share with you ways we can work together. Thank you also for the likes and the subscribes. They help the channel grow, and share the channel through the algorithm with people who need it most. There are 3 half-hour sessions left next Friday if you're in need of guidance for the new year. We're already in the shadow of both Venus and Juno retrograde, with Mars retrograde wrapping up soon. Hooray! So if there's been any dust kicked up in the areas of love, money, or work, the answers that you need will be in your chart to help you know what to do for the highest good of all involved. Stay tuned to the very end. That's where I'll do a segment called First Look, which will facilitate our perspective going into the new moon in Pisces in a couple weeks' time. Here's our full moon in Leo. It is square to Uranus there in Taurus. It is also opposite Mercury in Aquarius, who's conjunct Ceres, which is about closures, and the sun. We square rather to Juno up there at the top of the chart, um, and a trine to Chiron there as well. This is an interesting full moon energy. This is a full moon that really invites us into self-consideration and action toward our evolution. This full moon may have included a sense of both irritation and activation and revelation in equal measure. How we use that energy is going to be up to us, but this full moon energy may have had you feeling quite busy in the external world, or busy inside, a little anxious, may have felt a little bit pushy about taking action and making change in both the love and money arena, as well as overall in our lives. There are some really important updates about the upcoming Venus retrograde and currently ongoing Mars retrograde in that light worker energy update. So be sure to have a listen there for some relationship insights about what's to come and why certain things are happening in the now time with regard to relationships and money. Let's take a look at this now for the sign of Aries. And if you get stuck or you're joining the live, you'll see that the sign that we're on is right up at the top of each chart there. Aries. This full moon takes place here in the sector that deals with children, your inner child, creativity, and your manifestation sector. You can expect that there could be some changes with your money, with Uranus square the full moon from the sector that deals with earned income, and the way you handle it to facilitate your hopes, goals, wishes, and dreams, this sector over here that hosts the Sun and Mercury. There could be some tough financial decisions that need to get made at this full moon. You could also be closing out a financial connection, collaboration, or business financial arrangement in order to make room for new goals and new things you intend to do with your money. This could also see you wrapping up a project so that you can clear the decks for something new in terms of your manifestations. This overall does seem like it's going to serve you if there are any upsets or surprises that show themselves financially at this particular full moon. It does look like you could, if you are financially engaged or involved with a business partner or a romantic partner could see some changes on that front, such as partner losing their job or changing up the way the two of you do investments, if this is a romantic change financially. And if it's a work partnership, this is where you may see some changes when it comes to the way you either structure your investments together or the way you structure your payouts together. We could put it like that. Okay. When it comes to love, Aries, and Aries, if you need any support, knowing how to navigate any of this, because this does look like an energy that stays with you for some time. To book a reading, we can talk it through. When it comes to your love sector, Aries, get ready. The past is incoming with both Juno and Venus preparing to go retrograde as joint governors of your romance department. There could be some surprises and upsets in committed connections, some things that you didn't see coming, given the way that they will both speak to Uranus on their retrograde pathways, and some things that maybe you did see coming but are happening perhaps out of order according to the plan you may have had for yourself. Surprises aren't necessarily bad things, they're just things that were unexpected. There could also be a sense of intensity combined with absence going on here if you're in some level of situationship where you feel like you really want to be close to the person, but for some reason they're not quite available. And if you're looking to meet someone new, you could meet this person while you're out and about, just shining and glowing in the way that you do, Aries, or engaging in metaphysical or spiritual activities at this full moon window. So enjoy your life, and it looks like you'll be on track to finding someone that you enjoy very much. Please hit that like button and listen for your sun, moon, rising, and stelliums. And now let's take a look at this new moon for Taurus. Here is full moon. Here's the full moon in Leo, right there in the sector that deals with family, home, and your ancestry, Taurus. This full moon could see you closing out a particular living situation. In particular, if you happen to live with a partner or away from a partner, that status when it comes to your partnership and your living situation could change with this particular full moon, where you move in together or don't, or if you were living together, you stop living together now. This could also be the sale of a home asset, it appears, or liquidating assets from a property. That's definitely possible here as well. And this could also be the ending of a work from home partnership, setup, or collaboration or project, the ending of one leg of a project and moving on to the next stage, it does look like. There could be some intensity and change when it comes to a shift in the way you think about yourself and your public reputation as well, with Uranus that deals with your selfhood, and the Sun, Ceres, and Mercury all sitting here in the sector that deals with your public identity, where people may have known you in one light or for one particular thing. Now you may be getting introduced to a different group of people and becoming known for something else altogether. If you need any help figuring out how to navigate this, answers will be in your chart, Taurus. You can book with me over at K-Moon Astro. Link is below this video. Let's take a look at your love sector. Love for you, Taurus, at this full moon. If you're in a committed bond, it's a good chance that you and your partner are in sync. Lots of psychic messages coming in, downloads definitely possible, certainly lots of insights when it comes to your love life. There's also a good chance for some of you may, because of the Mars retrograde, have seen some communication from some exes, some people from your past, people who you didn't necessarily know may have had a thing for you, now may be in communication with you to be able to find out if there is something that can happen between the two of you. If you've got the vibe for it, go for it. But of course, if not, honor the way you feel in the situation. Don't want to force yourself into anything. There also is a great chance that you, if you are in a connection and a committed bond, that you and your partner could be working together to move the connection forward in partnership, making changes that will help solidify the connection, releasing or cutting certain things out. This could even be ways of relating with siblings, cousins, neighbors, intimate soul family, especially if these people could have been disruptive to your connection. Or, I sometimes see couples take on siblings, cousins, or neighbors as roommates for a short period of time. If that's been disruptive in your connection, as Mars completes retrograde at the end of this month, you will find that that comes to an end, and that ending will facilitate solidifying and closing gaps in your relationship, bringing you and your partner back into harmony. Now, for those in some level of situationship, this could be a very passionate time, especially as we get close to the Valentine's Day weekend. And for those looking for love, likely to find it through friends and family or friends of family at this time, or family members of your friends. Like your friend's cousin shows up to the cookout and all of a sudden there's spark, or your in-laws sister suddenly comes to a family gathering and you're like, "Oh, okay. I didn't know this person was in your family." And there's chemistry between you and someone who comes through soul family. Okay. So that sort of thing is in store in the love department for you. If you heard something that resonates, definitely hit that like, subscribe button and share it with fellow Taurians that may be needing some guidance. Let's take a look at this full moon for the sign of Gemini. Gemini, this full moon takes place here in the sector of the sky that deals with short distance travel, uh, education, siblings, cousins, and neighbors. You could need to take a short trip at this time to do with siblings, cousins, neighbors, or perhaps even your in laws. There's also a brief learning opportunity here, online or weekend workshop that could show up at this particular full moon. We do see that this full moon could also be indicative of wrapping up a learning activity or travel activity that leaves you more sovereign, more independent, and more in control because you've completed it. And a sense of being there for others, friends, siblings, cousins, neighbors could certainly show itself with Chiron trine the full moon, where you are stepping up as the healer and way shower in your family or group with the guidance and the wisdom that people need to hear. It seems to just come out of nowhere, but puts you in the spotlight as the one that people look to when it comes to moving forward. If you need any help moving through this full moon period, you can certainly find me at kmoonastro.com, links below this video. Let's take a look at love at this full moon for you, Gemini. You could be building a love story with someone who may not seem like there's a romantic connection with at first. Could perchance be someone that you find in your friendship circle, someone that you've known for a long time, but there hasn't been any romance there. And at this particular full moon, it could just take off into sparks and solidify into something more for both people. For those in a committed bond, you could be fulfilling dreams together or have a sense that you're on the same side and on the same team, which can be a very enriching experience to have, especially if there's been any challenge getting on the same page. It does look like this full moon speaks to a lot of harmony between you and your person. And for those in some sort of situationship, things do look a little flirty, but almost. Neutral. So you could meet someone else at this time, even though that you might have someone. you may find someone new steps up so that you find that there's opportunities if you're in neutral with one person. They're not ready to move forward, but you are. You could find an innocent flirtation takes off at this particular full moon and moves you into relationship or a fling. If you heard something that resonates here, definitely hit that like and subscribe. I'll be back at the next new moon in Pisces to walk you through more. Let's talk about this full moon for Cancer. All right, Cancer. Here is our full moon for you in the sector that deals with your earned income, values, and self worth. At this particular full moon, you may see a conclusion of a project and the payout that comes with wrapping it up. For those of you who work on your own or have side hustles, this could also be the end of a self esteem issue as some truths may get revealed to you about the people you've compared yourself to at work, whether you work for yourself or someone else. There could be a paying off of debt for some, like submitting your taxes early if you're in the US, and you may become privy at this time to a family secret or information that's a bit of a bombshell for you and others involved. And if it's not that, some of the revelations from your own subconscious mind about where and how you can think more highly of yourself can show up at this time and give you some insight into how you can step into greater achievement and fulfillment at work and career simply through adjusting your self perception. Now, if you need any support navigating that, you can always find me at kmoonastro.com to book a reading here in the love department. This full moon could see you traveling for love, learning about love, and investing in yourself to take your love life to the next level through education. For singles, you're going to find that you may find love through your travels, learning, higher education, or faith based organizations at this time. So, any of those settings is where you might bump into someone and things could take off. And this full moon is a huge opportunity for all to transform self esteem and step up when it comes to love by valuing yourself more. A little cliche, I know, for Valentine's Day, but this is the way it reads for the Leos. For couples, you may find that you solidify and deepen the connection to your partner through enhancing your self love, learning about love, taking a workshop or a class together may, or for yourself, may step up your connection with your counterpart. You may also find that doing things together in travel or through a faith based organization, you may find that these also enhance your love life. For those of you in some level of situationship, you may find that your connection can grow, solidify, and go to the next level at this particular full moon. You may find that both you and that person are on the same page in terms of how much you value one another. You may decide, hey, let's lock it in. So, if you heard something that resonates, Cancer, definitely hit that like button and subscribe. I'll be here at the next lunar update to break it all down for us one more time. Let's take a look at this full moon for the sign of Leo. Leo, here is this full moon in the sector here that deals with your selfhood and identity. This full moon can bring a conclusion to a way of being in your life, in particular in your work related partnerships and collaborations with the Uranus square. From your work sector, it does look like there are some changes that have to do with work partnerships and work collaborations. They do look like they may come on suddenly. They also look like they are going to benefit you and your reputation in the long run. You may Definitely have your eyes open to some tough lessons and tough decisions throughout this full moon period. And you may also be in recognition of where you can share yourself fully and where you cannot, who are safe people for you at work, who are not safe people, where you may be overexposed in terms of personal information being on public display, and where you need to really rein it in and do a better job at managing your reputation at work or in your industry or field if you work for yourself. For those of you working for yourself, this is where you may make some new choices about how you can show and share yourself so that you can move your career forward. And for those of you in a job, this is where you may realize there are changes you need to make when it comes to how you handle your reputation in the public sector so that you can move your career forward. Okay. Let's talk now about your love life, shall we? Now, because your love sector is lit up over here, this full moon is going to bring a lot of big ideas, communication, even mental intensity and some intuition can show itself in your love department now. Singles, I want you to be very mindful. The people you meet right now could potentially be committed already. And simultaneously, singles, be very mindful because it does look like there is some potential that you could find love through the work sector at this time with the governor of your love department hanging out in the career sector. You're in an extended season for that. And so it is going to be important that you navigate that quite carefully, especially if your job, especially if your job has a no fraternizing policy when it comes to romance in the workplace. But if that's not an issue, then definitely keep your eyes and ears out. It does look like you might have a secret admirer at work. It does look like things might get a little bit awkward at this full moon period. Again, you want to be mindful, especially if one or both of you happens to be in another relationship. Okay. There also seems to be for couples a time, this may be a time period where you may have some really intense conversations, deep insights about one another and where you both want to go in the connection. You might even get some deeper psychological insights about your partner or share such things about yourself. And this will allow the two of you to go deeper and talk things through, enhancing your emotional and spiritual intimacy. But it does look like there could be some things that show up this time. Looks like a little bit of a surprise, could catch you off guard. And it does look like it might be a little uncomfortable or awkward at first, but it does allow the two of you to have richer conversation that brings the bond together. There could also be a couple of surprises for couples when it comes to one or the other person's work life that either get exposed or found out or changes to either like schedule or promotion, these sort of things at work at this time. It does look like it enhances the bond over time, but for now, it may seem like it's a bit uncomfortable to figure out how you're going to navigate the work change that could come up. For those of you who are in situationships, this is where you and your person can have a deeper conversation about where this is going and make the decision to either lock it in or let it go. If you heard something that resonates there, Leo, definitely hit that like button so that you and I can meet up again at the next lunation and subscribe. Let's talk now to the Virgos. Virgos, here is this full moon for you in the sector that deals with your intuition, your deep psychology, your dreams, and psychic phenomena. Dreams and downloads may be off the charts for you at this time, Virgo, especially things having to do with friends and yourself. And the way you interact in your friendship circle. You also may have some hunches, some intuitions, some synchronicities regarding where you stand in your friendship circle, which friends may need to shift or change, and how you feel about your friendships overall, and how they feel about you. There's a high chance that you have to take on a new responsibility at work because someone may have left and left a vacuum in their particular role. And if you're self employed, you may see that there is a project that takes off now, or a deepened level of service that you need to give to a client at this time that solidifies some of your income in the coming weeks and months. So it does look like a very busy time. Definitely lots of dreams and downloads for you, Virgo. Some of them about friends, some of them about service, some of them about your projects, and how perhaps you can blend all of the above, your friends and service and work in the world, so that there's a win 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 situation for all involved. Okay. Now, when it comes to your love life here, singles, let's talk to you guys first. You may find that someone at work has a little bit of a crush or is admiring you from afar. There is a small chance that you could find someone who's already involved. So just make sure you're doing your due diligence with any new people that you meet, especially in your industry or at work. For my Virgos in situationships, this is where you could have a passionate interlude with your person that leads to a conversation about solidifying the connection and moves it to commitment. So that's really exciting for the couples. You'll find this full moon can open the door for very deep intimacy when it comes to your psychic connection. Your intuition about what your partner needs and how they need it is going to be very high. So lock in and execute. Does look like a great full moon for Virgo couples. Okay. If you need any support navigating, you know where to find me. And if you heard something that resonates, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. Let's talk about this full moon for the Libras out here. Libra, this full moon takes place in the sector that has to do with friends, colleagues, and hopes, wishes, and dreams fulfilled. This full moon could see the completion of a hope, wish, or dream, such as an accomplishment that was a long time coming, or the closing of a door or chapter as you let go of a hope, wish, goal, or dream that you know is no longer aligned with who you're becoming. You may also see perhaps the end of working alone on a dream and finding the needed community to bring that dream to life, to bring that fulfillment into being. And this could be the conclusion of a project and the related project partners that provided you a sense of honoring, where you could be yourself among people who respected and honored your skills. As that closes, there will be another door that opens. So know that this won't be the last. But if this was one project that gave you that sense of, wow, this is how I want to work, know that this was a signal for you about the direction you're meant to grow in as you continue to move forward. For those of you who are working in a job, you may see a project that came back at the beginning of Mars retrograde, the end of 2024, start to come into its final stages so that you're able to wrap it up, see its conclusion, and be in a place where you can send it off into the world. If you could use some support navigating any of this, you can definitely find me over at Moon Astro. Link is below this video, let's talk about your love life. With Mars retrograde here in your career sector, you've been in a period of time since the last quarter of 2024 where you could see the return of an ex, someone that you may have worked with in the past. This is still in the plate. We're still in the time frame where that person could show up if they haven't yet through the end of the month when Mars goes direct. But it does look like that person has shown up. The two of you have been in and continue to be in some deeper communication and questioning about your motivations and ambitions with one another, with Chiron speaking to that Mars and what happens next. Now, what's interesting about this, even if a person has not shown up directly in your third dimension, this Mars retrograde may have had you reviewing missed opportunities because maybe you have a personal policy of not mixing business with pleasure, or your work has a no fraternizing policy. And there would have been some opportunities for love for you through the world of work. Now, I'm not advocating being messy, but I am seeing you have a second chance here. And it could even be with someone you used to work with, but don't anymore. So now it's safe to get together, to reach out, to see where things could go. Now, for my coupled Libras, work may have you both tied up in a way where it's hard to make time for connection, but it does look like you'll find the time for some passionate interludes in the second half of the month. And for those of you in situationships, this full moon may have you realizing that you have some people in your inner circle who may have always been there, but now there's a chance that love can be there with that person too. So enjoy the love vibes, Libra. Let's take a look now at this particular full moon. For Scorpio, definitely hit that like and subscribe button, Libra. Helps the content circulate. Here we go for Scorpio. This particular full moon takes place in your career and public reputation sector. And it does see that there's a completion here of a particular phase of being perceived in a very particular way and operating in partnership in a very particular way with Uranus and Juno in square to this full moon. Going forward, you're going to have a new way that people will perceive you in collaboration and partnership. This could be a promotion for some of you that's giving way to this. This may even be a return to something you've known in partnership and collaboration when you were younger or from your former years, in particular in business or work partnership. So, if in a previous job you held the role of co VP, you're not a VP in your current job, you may now get to a role where you are made co VP again in a new job or new career position. There is also a chance here as well that as this Juno prepares to go retrograde, the way you have been seen in previous roles in your career is a way you get seen now. And if that's not something you've liked, you're going to get ample time to revisit how did I come to be put in this position again? You'll also have time to understand if it is something you like, how to lock it in so that you're able to establish at this particular season of life your new role in your career trajectory. All in all, it does look a little uncomfortable. Maybe could be a little awkward, come with some surprises with Uranus opposite Juno, but overall and long term, it does look like this is for your benefit. This does mark a period of review for you when it comes to the way you do collaboration, both professionally and romantically. One where you get the opportunity to review, reset, and clear the decks for a new way of collaborating with people. Again, if you felt like, okay, the respect isn't there, want a partnership, opportunity to level up the way you show up. If you feel like this is actually what I really want, opportunity is there to lock it in so that your trajectory is this moving forward. There could be, as I mentioned, some surprises in store. As I do see, you may feel guided to reach out to ex partners in business to collaborate or return to former principles or practices that guided you in business or work collaboration. That might be unusual for your lone wolf style or perchance for the workplace that you're in. If you're introducing something that you used to do from a previous job into this new job, while it will serve you and them well at this time, it may be surprising to them, surprising to you that you're guided in this way. Could take a little adjusting on both sides. Let's talk more specifically about this love stuff, shall we? In love, it does look like this is a period where you can solidify stuff in your love life. For those of you who are couples or in situationships, you want to take it a step forward at this time. You will be able to. I also see because your love sector is governed by Venus and Juno, you're like Aries, one of the two signs that likely is likely to have some X's show up, especially as Venus and Juno get closer to their retrograde period. You may have even heard from them already. You may feel guided to reach out to some if you haven't already, given that Mars is your governing planet and Mars is going retrograde at this time. Okay. If that is something you are guided to do, honor it. You know, there may be something there now that both you and the other person are in a new place, a different place. But if it's not something you're guided to do and it shows up, obviously you want to act in integrity and with some grace. For those of you who are in situationships, this is where you may find that some form of regularity and routine can start to show itself. It actually may come out of the blue. Hopefully, it's the two of you seeing one another regularly, taking things to the next level. But this does indicate that you and them may be spending more time separate from one another. That's definitely a possibility at this full moon. And for my Scorpios who are out here looking for love, it does look like you may find it in your day to day settings where you run your errands, have your routines, the gym, the grocery store, your other daily go tos, dropping the kids off, the gas station, the laundromat, etc. I know, not the sexiest place to find love, but definitely stay open to putting your best foot forward and to meeting people where you least expect it, because through that, you may find someone who's a perfect fit. Okay. If you heard something that resonates there, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. And now we will speak to the Sagittarians. Sagittarius, this full moon for you takes place here. Uh, your sector that deals with faith, hope, optimism, and faith based organizations, higher education organizations, and travel, long distance travel. This speaks to the completion of a long journey when it comes to those sectors of life. For some, this may be where you get to a place where your belief systems, your faith shifts. What you believed in and what you now believe in could be transforming, altering, especially Sagittarius when it comes to love and relationship. Because of the way Mercury, the governor of your love sector, is opposite this full moon, and the way Juno is speaking to this full moon as well, and getting a heavy dose of change from Uranus. Interestingly enough, as you train, shift, and transform, it does look like there's huge opportunity for, because of your new belief systems, new things to start to show themselves in the arena of love as well. For some, this may be where you get a visa, have a graduation, get your certificate from a particular educational program. These are also possible with this full moon energies. For others, this may be a less official graduation where you're changing up your routines and your daily habits because you're ready to move into a new chapter and season of your life. This may also be a moment where you recognize your patterns and routines have to change in order for you to take advantage of your full potential, especially if you're trying to call in love and relationship. If you heard something that resonates and could use some guidance, definitely book a reading with me over at kmoonastro.com where we can take a look deeper in your chart. But when it comes to love more directly, you may find that you've got some heavy, intense, thoughtful conversations ahead. And if not with a person, then certainly with yourself, perhaps even with your therapist as you work through some deeper recognitions and realizations about the impact of the way you've been living, how you've been living your life has been impacting your love prospects and your love results. For singles, it's like you could meet someone through Soul Family or online at this particular full moon. I do see that potential for you here. Um, and for couples, it's likely you and your person have much deeper heart to hearts about your relationship and have the opportunity to learn some new things about each other's thinking that can enhance your intimacy. It does look like the things you learn may come as a surprise. Maybe you didn't know they thought or felt a certain way about certain topics inside of your relationship, but through getting to know them in this way, it will allow you both to deepen your bond. For those in situationships, this is where you and your person can have some deeper conversations that help you decide whether you're going to take this to the next level or leave it alone. Okay. If you heard something that resonates there, definitely hit that like and subscribe. Let's take a look at this full moon for the sign of Capricorn. Don't forget at the end, we're going to do first look. So stick around. We'll take a look at how this full moon moves into the new moon in Pisces in a couple weeks' time. For you, Capricorn, this full moon's taking place in the sector of the sky that has to do with alchemy, endings, transformation, physical intimacy, and what we call other people's money. Taxes, loans, grants, lottery winnings, inheritances, wills, payouts from assets, or lawsuits. This could be where you see yourself closing out a debt if we're dealing with finances, and closing out a situationship if we're talking about intimacy. And in both cases, we see deep personal transformation about the way you handle things. And when it comes to either physical intimacy or money, Capricorn, you are stepping up and leveling up when it comes to the way you value yourself, likely through some difficult and transformative situations you may have been in. The way you handle your money and the way you handle yourself in intimacy is undergoing deep transformation and change as a result of your leveling up. In the arena of work, and if you work for somebody else or for a company, this may be where you close out a work from home situation and return to the office, or the inverse. But a change in the relationship between work and home does seem to be showing itself for you at this time. For those who work for themselves, you may be seeing the long term fulfillment of a goal at this time that you've worked toward for a while now. It does look like that may have come to fruition, and now you're ready to move into that next chapter. If you heard something that resonates, but you could use some deeper guidance, answers will be in your chart, Capricorn. You can book with me over at kmoonastro.com, links below the video. Let's talk about your love life here. In love, this full moon speaks to cleaning up some baggage from the past. This could even be subconsciously reviewing memories that may have to do with childhood that set you up with your patterns and paradigms in partnership. Now, you may also find that your physical intimacy gets a boost at this full moon and that you have some very fun, very passionate times, especially post this full moon. And those of you who are single, you're very likely to meet someone while handling something financial, such as at a bank, the financial advisor's office, or doing metaphysical work like a meditation circle or group therapy, or maybe even a tarot circle or divination of some sort. For couples, this full moon could see you both get a renewal to the physical intimacy department, which I like to see for you. And for those of you in situationships, this is where you could see yourself both feel a little torn between some family obligations and the connection. I know that you'll make the right decision when it's time. If you heard something that resonates, definitely hit that like button and subscribe. And let's take a look at this full moon for the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius, this full moon takes place here in your relationship sector. This full moon could see you completing a phase of partnership that allows you to know where you and another person stand. There are some deeper conversations that can be had that invite you to reveal certain truths about where you're at, given Mercury opposite the full moon in your sign, and what your truth is, what you're thinking, what you want, what you don't want. And that's going to invite whomever you're dealing with to offer the same transparency with you. For those that are coupled and in situationships, this is where you may find a heart to heart is had that clarifies why things may have been the way they have been with your partner, gives you some revelation and insight into what's going on. You may be the one that's guided to share such information yourself. And for singles, this is where you could meet someone when you least expect it. When you're out and about, engaging in things that are interesting to you, in particular in your group of friends, in your friendship circle, does look like you might be able to meet someone while you're just being yourself. In the arena of work and money, Aquarius, this full moon may see you wrapping up a project or type of project that's similar to something from your past. Okay. Now, this revisitation does look like it ends at the end of this month with when Mars retrograde finishes and leaves you with its wisdom through March and April as Mars wraps up its shadow. This could also see your reputation changing as you come out of the shadows and showcase who you are and what you can do in ways that make your personal power undeniable. You may notice people reacting to you differently as of the last 3 months of 2024, and you may have a sense of newfound respect that from the people around you that there's an inability to shrink away from or hide. Aquarius, don't shy away from the spotlight. You're entering into a season of elevation when it comes to your public perception. Trying to hide or downplay your power is only going to make others resent your lack of self awareness and wholeness. So, if you're being prompted into leadership positions here, this is absolutely what's meant to be happening. Step up, shine bright. Okay. And if you heard something that resonates, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. And let's take a look at this particular full moon for Pisces. Pisces, for you, this full moon is taking place in the day to day routines, health and well being sector of your chart, and the sector that has to do with people external to you that have power either above you or people you have power over. So bosses and direct reports, people you hire. You may find that someone departs at work who works over or under you, and it may come at this time as a bit of a surprise. I'm seeing the communication about this person's departure may come out of nowhere. Your daily routines may also change here as you realize you need a different routine to close out your day before bed to enhance your sleep, take care of your sleep hygiene. Your intuition may also be at an all time high with this stacked sector of your chart. And your dreams may come with some special meaning at this time. Looks like a potent time for messages that come through claircognizance, dreams, and synchronicities in your day to day life. Okay. If you need any support navigating this very transformational period of time, you can book with me over at kmoonastro.com. Link is below this video. Let's talk about love. Your love sector. Love for you can be found in these day to day routines. Um, at this time, and also while you're doing things that help or heal your subconscious, such as seeing your therapist, maybe going to some breath work or going to a healing circle of some type. If you're looking for love, this is where you're most likely to find it. If you're already in a committed connection, this full moon will help you and your partner complete a phase of the relationship that may have been more self focused so that each of you can build more together. If you're in a situation, you'll find situationship, you'll find that this full moon may have you and another person going back and forth trying to hash out where things are going, if they can go anywhere, and what actions feel aligned in order to get there. Pay attention here to Freudian slips and things said and done, quote unquote, accidentally, as they may reveal true intentions, both yours and another person's, and honor that when it shows itself. Let's take a look at this. This is my first impression of the Pisces new moon that's coming up on February 27th at 7:44 p.m. I want to give you my first impression of it, and then we'll close out. So here's that new moon in Pisces at the ninth degree. It is loosely conjunct Ceres, which is about closure, which is very interesting since Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. We also see this new moon square to Jupiter. We see this new moon square to Vesta. This is going to create a bit of a T square energy. It is loose, but it is nonetheless there, which causes some tension. At least it's Jupiter. I like the Jupiter squares to lunations because they do bring a little bit of faith, hope, and optimism, even if we can get a little bit carried away with ourselves. Does look like there's some energy here of potentially being torn or split in multiple directions. Could be a lot of busyness, doing a whole lot, trying to get things in order. We also see that this new moon has a loose trine to Mars, who will finally be done retrograde as we get closer to the new moon in Pisces. And this is going to facilitate a sense of emotional congruence and motivation and clarity. If there has been emotional confusion, this new moon in Pisces is going to help clear that up so that actions and emotions are congruent and aligned going forward. Overall, I do like this new moon. I like this new moon's energy because it allows a little bit of possibility and potential and congruent and aligned action after a time of turbulence and turmoil with the Aquarius new moon and Leo full moon that we just had. So, I'm going to talk more about this the closer we get to this new moon. So look out for that lunar update, that light worker energy update. But yeah, it does look like a new moon to look forward to. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And I will see you then. Take great care and bye for now.